Welcome back to Full Circle, Florida. It was the biggest story of the week in Tampa Bay. The Rays suspending their new stadium deal, and here to talk about the fallout and what happens next. They are Pat Donavan and Aaron Jacobson from the Pat and Aaron Show, weekday mornings on 95.3 WDAE. All right, guys, who's to blame for this latest saga? I mean, it just doesn't seem to end. Do you hold the Rays accountable for this or the Pinellas County Commission?
Yes. Everyone's at fault. You're at fault. I'm at fault. You're at fault. How many games did you go to? You're at fault. Everyone's at fault.
I confess I did not make it to a game this year. I wanted to. I didn't get the boys over there.
Everyone has a part in this right now, but more specifically, what's happening in Pinellas County, what's happening with the Rays. They are both at fault, and the true loser in this, there's one big loser. It's Rays fans.
Of course.
I think we're all losers. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I think, that's right. As much as I think that there's plenty of fault to go around, if Pinellas County approves the bonds for the stadium, I think we're on our way to a new ballpark and we don't have another discussion about it. And for them to be part of a press conference where we put up billboards that say here to stay and everyone's saying here to stay, and then the next thing you know, well, maybe not. I don't think we're here if they just make the votes they said they'd make.
And that's where we were 6 months ago. We were good. We had you guys on. We were like, hey, it's over. They finally have a home. And here we are. We're getting this gut punch again. I mean, it's just the suffering that fans have to go through. And I am a fan. I born and raised here. I remember when we got these teams that, we got a taste of. You're going to get a team. We're going to get a team. And it got snatched away at the last second. We fought a long time to get a team. It would be a shame to see it go.
We have celebrated new stadium news with this team so many times. This is the guy, Pat right here, is the boy that cried stadium. Every single year it seems like we're shovels in the dirt. We're going to get the stadium. Everyone's excited. We come on the show, but just cannot get to the finish line.
I actually have a shovel in my car. I'm not even kidding. I'll show you.
You'll help build the stadium when it happens, hopefully. Do you think this ends with the Rays leaving? Or do you think cooler heads will prevail?
I don't think it ends with the Rays leaving. I think cooler heads will prevail. I also think they're going to get a nudge from Major League Baseball to say, hey, cooler heads better prevail. And at the end of the day, whether it be in St. Petersburg or Tampa, and I do think we could end up with it being in Tampa, one way or another, I believe they stay in this market and in this region.
That's what Pat said. The commissioner of baseball, Rob Manfred, wants baseball in Tampa Bay. So I don't know if cooler heads will prevail. I think the commissioner will step in and make so.
Well, just to give people perspective, it's the 11th largest television market in the country. I mean, New York is number 1, LA is number 2, Chicago's number 3. So we're the Tampa Bay area, 4 million kind of households or people rather.
Yeah.
There's a lot of customers that are taking this in.
And Rob Manfred, listen, he said he stands by the Tampa Bay community and the Rays being here, and he brought up Helene and Milton, and I think it's very difficult to mention the Hurricanes and what this region's been through and say you're behind the Tampa Bay market and then pull the rug out from under everyone.
Well, we've been busy these last couple of months. Can we just give everyone a break? We got whacked by 2 hurricanes. You wonder, can we just chill out and figure it out? Not a good time to be throwing ego tantrums, which seems to be what's been happening here. Some upset feelings, communicating through the media.
Yeah, and that's where I think they're both to blame. I thought it was a little odd, the letter that the Rays sent the Pinellas County Commission an hour before they were about to vote. So there's been some tactics on both sides, and that's where we're at right now, where we did have 2 major hurricanes, and I think a couple weeks, I do think it could be fair to say, hey, let's figure things out, let's settle down, but that's not the case. The Rays want this timeline, and they've made it clear this has to happen now.
I don't get why St. Pete, well, I guess I do. Brian O came out and said, look, you might not want to fix the Trop, and so they basically said, okay, then we're not going to approve the funds to fix the Trop, but it's a giant eyesore, doesn't look good, it's kind of depressing when you go down there and you see the roof ripped to shreds. I mean,
I think he's trying to make the point that you may not want to fix that ballpark if you're not going to approve the new one because we might have to go somewhere else. And I think that's exactly what they can say is, hey, we don't want to, but we might have to go somewhere else. So you may not want to pick that ballpark if you're not ready to make us a new home.
The hurricane ripping the roof off. I mean, cynics, and I've got friends that say, oh, this was the out that Stu Sternberg wanted all along. It looks like the hurricane hit yesterday because they haven't fixed it. Do you think the Rays were looking for an exit ramp, or is that too cynical to say that?
I don't know if they were looking for one, but I think when it presented itself, they found one. We all know the Rays have never wanted to be in St. Pete. The Rays have always wanted to be in the city of Tampa. They have said as much publicly. This is about money. The redevelopment deal, the reason that it was attractive to them wasn't because they thought that they were going to fill up a stadium all of a sudden. It's because they were going to make a lot of money off the land in the redevelopment. And that's still a big part of it. It's always about money.
Is there another city handing out $1 billion to say, hey, come be here?
I don't know if they're handing out $1 billion, but they may be willing to hand out more than St. Petersburg or more than Tampa, and that's something I think that we're at risk of. But again, with the way the commissioner feels about things, I think it's very difficult to say, hey, let's move to a smaller market just because somebody wants to pony up a little more for the stadium. I wouldn't be surprised if the commissioner, again, kind of pushes the Rays' hand on this one and says, figure it out, or maybe we'll find someone who can.
And Aaron, you said it. I mean, at the end of the day, this is about money. It's about real estate, and you either want to be a major league town or you don't. We're not just talking about a stadium here. We're talking about completely changing the city, $1 billion investment, and then some when you factor in what the future could look like in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think a lot of people are thinking now, especially on the Tampa side, now's your chance. You can redevelop an area in Tampa. You can make that happen in Tampa where there's more people. So I think that can of worms has been reopened.
Somebody call Mr. Vidic. I'm just throwing a name out.
He's got a couple new partners that could help as well. We've got some big pockets in our backyard. Maybe it's time to call on them and say, hey, would you like to invest in some other things?
I will donate $5.
Yeah, okay.
I'll go to 10.
We can do that. With the shovel as well. Pat Donavan, Aaron Jacobson, thank you for your insight as always. Appreciate it, guys. When we come back, our final thoughts on the week that was and the week ahead.